everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Comedy Crowd, where we attempt to bring you funny filtered
from life's crowd.
Have you ever felt the need to throw one huge blowout party?
Nope.
Of course you haven't. Well, don't. They are not all what they're cracked up to be.
Why do you say that?
Because, as an only child, I was always thirsty for attention. No, Ed, no. My parents moved around a lot when I was young, so I could never make friends, was bullied, picked on, etc. What, Ed, what do you have to say?
I was bullied too.
Sorry to hear that, Ed. But my parents finally settled down a little bit, and I managed to stay in one place for the last 2 years of high school. Am I boring you or something?
Not yet. Just wake me up when you're finished.
You cannot sleep on a talk show, Ed, especially as a co-host.
Why not? They're almost asleep already.
Please excuse Mr. Ed. He has attention.
I can leave?
No, Ed, you can't. Just stop. Shortly after graduation, my parents decided to move to another state.
What state?
That's not important, Ed.
Why not?
Because what state they moved to is irrelevant to this story.
So far, this entire story is irrelevant to the story.
Are you done?
No, are you?
By this time, I had my own job and my own trailer. And since my job was at a furniture store, my bachelor pad was fully furnished.
Wait, weren't you married like half a dozen times?
The marriages come later. Just listen.
Okay, if I have to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a guy living with me that had become my roommate. I had met him years back from a job that we traveled all over the country. He was a drifter, and I guess when he left the company, he just drifted my way.
You let a total stranger live with you on purpose?
He wasn't actually a stranger.
Then what was he actually?
I knew him from that job.
What was his birthday?
I don't know.
Then you don't know him. Stranger.
Whatever. Most of my friends were younger than me because I was of age and had a car. And to them, I was cool.
What kind of car did you have?
What does that matter?
I was bullied and I drove a car. And I was never considered cool. It matters. What were you driving?
A Pinto station wagon.
You could have stopped at Pinto. Station wagon is just overkill. I can see why you were bullied.
Okay then. What kind of car did you drive?
A tractor.
No wonder you were bullied and not cool.
I just said that. You sure you don't need a hearing aid?
Ed, as I was about to say, I did all of the preparations for this party, like building a 3-foot round burn pit in the backyard, bought all the necessary cocktails and food, and invited about 25 people to this party, which was set to happen on a Friday night. I even managed to get a date for the party.
How much did you pay her?
What? Pay who?
The date.
What, you think I can't get a date back then?
Back then, right now, pretty much 24/7.
All right, Ed, that's enough.
Not even close, but...
Anyway, back to the party. Things were going well. 22 people showed up to my party. There was a fire going in the backyard. There were hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill. The stereo was jamming in the house. Things were perfect.
That was your first mistake. Things are never perfect.
Ed, back then, for that night, things were as close to perfect as you can get.
Yeah, okay. As the last 5 episodes have shown me and them, anything that has happened in your life goes from perfect to pitiful in a hurry.
I don't need you to remind me of that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Unfortunately, my date had to be home by 10 o'clock. So at 9:30 p.m., I told my roommate that I was going to take my date home and that I would be back in a little bit. Keep an eye on things for me. He said he would, and off I went.
Was your date hot?
No, actually, she was kind of cold. It was around October, I think. Oh my God. I have been around you too long.
What is that supposed to mean?
I can actually feel my IQ dropping.
What is IQ?
Something you are missing. On my way back to the house, I noticed a red glow in the sky. I said to myself in the car, wow, something is really burning. That's a big fire.
I don't like fire. I have to burn my fields every season.
Nobody cares, Ed. What I didn't know yet at this age was if young people thought there was a good party going on somewhere, they would cruise the strip in them hot cars and yell party. Then all of the other cars would follow that car to the party, and they didn't care if they were invited or not.
Did it work?
Being unpopular in my scholastic career, I was unaware of this particular phenomenon. Turns out that this tactic was way more effective than a paper invitation, because this method would attract the masses of people, both good and bad. Those muscle cars were loaded with jocks, cheerleaders, bullies, mathletes, geeks, nerds, and just about every other demographic you could dream of. What, Ed?
What is phenomenon?
It's a 30-minute show. Check your inbox.
What? I don't have it.
As I pulled onto my dirt road, I could see the flames above the treetops, and that orange glow lit up my entire neighborhood. The fire was at my house.
Oh no. Was your house on fire?
No, I could no longer park at my house because there were enough cars in my yard and the next 2 yards to start a car lot. Mildly freaking out, I parked my car and walked to my house to find about 45 to 50 people in my backyard. Not to mention my 3-foot burn pit had now grown to 35 feet in circumference, and the flames were as tall as a water tower.
What did you do?
Well, I yelled, "What the hell is going on here?" I get a yell back, "Who the hell are you?" I replied, "I'm the guy that lives at this house." I get this yelled response, "Oh, hey dude, cool party." Having no clue how to deal with this situation, I shook my head and walked around to the front of the house and went inside.
Why didn't you party, man?
Ed, the fire was 100 feet tall. That is not a party fire. That is a satellite photo. Besides, I thought farmers didn't party.
We don't. But with a fire that big, you cook the entire roadkill carcass on the tailgate of your truck. That is productivity.
Ed, just stop. Please stop. I went into my house, and it wasn't much better in there either. As I walked into my 12 by 45 foot trailer, the first thing I noticed was there was as many people inside my house as there was outside my house. Before I could do or say anything, there was a loud knock at the door. Frustrated on the recent events that was unfolding, I answered the door. "What?"
Who was it?
Patience, farm boy, patience.
If that means wait for it, well, I can't.
I quickly changed my attitude with my greeting by replying, "Good evening, officers. How are you doing this evening? Is the music too loud again?" The officer proceeded to enter the house and inform me that there was a teenage girl reported missing.
I thought you took your date home.
It's not me. I am not a kidnapper.
How old was your date?
She was 17.
How long did they interrogate you?
I was 19 at the time. I did not kidnap anyone.
If you say so.
Wow. Anyway, after hearing this news, I proceeded to morph into my first mental meltdown by crying crocodile tears and saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to jail." The officer assures me that I am not in any trouble yet, which turns out wasn't a big help. They began showing me the picture of the girl to the boys on the couch and asking questions.
I don't like when cops ask questions. I get nervous.
Have you done anything wrong?
No.
Then there is nothing to be nervous about.
You have obviously never drove Farmer Johnson's tractor in the retention pond at 1 a.m. in the morning wearing his daughter's underwear.
If that is doing nothing wrong, I would hate to see what your something wrong is.
No, you wouldn't. It's actually a pretty good story.
Later, Ed. After looking at the 6 pair of glazed eyeballs sitting on my couch that the officers were attempting to speak to, my crying persisted. Turns out one of the boys knew the girl's name and told the officers that she had a boyfriend and gave them a description of his car. One officer immediately went outside to put out a bulletin on the car's description, while the other officer began to ask the boys on the couch how old they were.
Don't leave out the premium details. What kind of car was it?
I don't know. I was too busy worried about the answers coming from the boys on the couch. When asked their age, which came back as follows: 16, 14, 16, 15, 17, and 18. Then I morphed into my second mental meltdown. Oh my God, I'm going to jail. The officer again assured me that I was not going to jail if his instructions were followed.
What were the instructions?
He told me to send everybody home and then make sure any stragglers got home safely. I asked him if he wouldn't mind clearing the outside for me, and I will take care of the inside. The officer agreed with my plan and then went outside to join his partner.
How did you get a cop to do something you asked him to? Did you use the Jedi mind trick?
It was at this point that I decided to do a walkthrough in my house. To this day, I wish I would have left well enough alone, shut and locked the door, and just drove away forever. But no, I had to investigate.
What is wrong with investigating?
You will find out as I proceed. First, I need to describe the setting for my audience.
No, you don't.
Ed, yes I do.
Trust me. You do not. They don't care.
Anyway, I owned a 12 by 45 mobile home sitting on 1/2 acre. Well, correction. The bank and myself owned it.
OMG!
Ed, what is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. I just realized why you're adding OMG to the title of this episode.
And why is that?
Because the only person that is going to stay tuned long enough to hear the story is God.
All right, that's enough. Where was I?
Investigate, Sherlock.
Wow. Did you dunk your head in the irrigation canal again?
No, and as I told you, that was an accident.
Mm-hmm. As you walked into my trailer, to the right was an archway taking you to the kitchen. Immediately to the left was the living room, and behind the living room was the master bedroom. Next to that was the bathroom, then the laundry room, and then the back door.
Are you selling mobile homes? Gee!
No, Ed, I am just painting a picture.
You need new paint.
Ed, as soon as the second officer left, I was standing in the archway between the kitchen and the living room. I turned to my right to go into the kitchen and stepped on a mouse. It screamed, I screamed, not my finest testosterone-fueled moment.
Wait a minute. A grasshopper took you out and you're afraid of mice?
I am not afraid of them. We just startled each other.
Yeah, okay, cowboy. And my crop of $100 bills is ready for harvest.
Anyway, as I walked into the kitchen, the first thing I noticed was spaghetti stuck from the ceiling.
Was your trailer upside down or something?
No, Ed, it was not. Not to mention every pot, pan, plate, bowl, and piece of silverware I owned was dirty in the sink. My stove was on, but was cooking absolutely nothing.
Why was the oven on?
I don't know, Ed. I wasn't there, remember?
No, I don't remember. I have done forgot what we're talking about.
Then just be quiet.
All right, if I have to.
My refrigerator looked as though it had just returned from battle. The microwave was on with nothing inside of it, as if sending signals to the mothership.
I knew it.
Knew what?
You do believe in aliens.
No, I do not. That was an expression.
That is exactly what an alien would say.
Oh, dear God. My floor in the kitchen looked like a herd of elephants had run through it. As well as the spaghetti had migrated to the walls, the sink, the stove, and the floor.
I thought you said earlier things were perfect. That doesn't sound perfect to me.
Things were perfect. 37 minutes ago, my house was squared away and looking good. How does all of this happen in 37 minutes?
I thought you lived in a mobile home. When did it turn into a house?
Ed, stop it.
Stop what? I'm just asking the questions that they are thinking.
You are not a savant.
What did you call me?
Oh, never mind. When I left my mobile home, my Sanyo home stereo system was in the living room.
Where did it go?
Shh. I hear music coming from the bedroom. In disgust and disbelief that all of this could happen in 37 minutes, I made my way to the bedroom. By now, I'm not only curious, I'm scared.
I thought you were a Marine.
I was. I am. What does that have to do with anything?
I am. Would you make up your mind?
Ed, you are testing my patience.
I thought Marines were brave. You're afraid of grasshoppers, mice?
I am not afraid, and Marines are brave, but they are also human beings.
Are you sure? Because
No, stop. You are just not going to let this alien thing go, are you?
Nope, because aliens are...
As I was saying, I opened the bedroom door slowly to find my stereo adrift on my waterbed, playing Another One Bites the Dust. I leaned my body back out into the hall and looked left, then I looked right, then looked into the bedroom again to make sure that what I was seeing was real. Then I leaned back into the hall and yelled to my friend Will, "Are we on candid camera?" He yells back, "I don't think so."
What is Candid Camera?
It's an old television show, probably before your time.
No, we're filming Comedy Corral. Are you sure you don't have a tumor?
I don't have a tumor, Ed. Then I slowly pulled the bedroom door closed to this apparent nightmare without ever having stepped foot into the bedroom.
Why didn't you go in? Chicken.
No, Ed, I am not chicken. But how would you like to be a dead duck?
I can't eat duck. It gives me gas.
Wow. TMI, Ed.
What is TMI?
It means too much information.
I'm just saying that duck...
I know what you were just saying. And I'm just saying that the audience doesn't need to know that type of information.
Why not?
Because, Ed, nobody needs to know what gives you gas.
Okay. Then is it too late to tell you that I had duck for dinner last night?
As I left the bedroom, I began walking down the hallway, following a trail of wet towels. I'm thinking to myself, why are all of my towels wet? Did someone take a shower? And if not, what are they wet with?
Who took a shower?
I don't know, Ed. I haven't got that far.
Some investigator you are.
As I continued picking up the trail of wet towels, I made my way to the dryer. I opened the dryer door to throw the towels inside when I'm greeted with, "Hey, dude." Startled, I jumped back about 3 feet and bent down to find out why my dryer was talking. To find a grown man living in my dryer. He waves hello, and I half-heartedly wave back and shut the door, placing the wet towels on top of the dryer instead of inside of it.
How much was his rent?
What?
What did you charge him for rent?
Nothing, Ed. He wasn't supposed to be in there.
How did you serve him?
What are you talking about?
The guy living in your dryer. If he wasn't supposed to be there, how did you serve him his eviction notice?
Pete's sake.
Was that his name?
What? Whose name?
The guy in the dryer. Was his name Pete? Now who is not focused?
Shut up, Ed. I don't know what the guy's name was, just that he wasn't supposed to be in there.
How rude.
Now, by this time, the look on my face is of total bewilderment and disbelief. I look as though I have been flown into the deepest, darkest jungle in a foreign country and dropped off. At this point, I refuse to investigate the size of the fire outside that is presently lighting up my entire house without a single light on.
That sounds like a win to me.
Sounds like a win how?
No electric bill, silly.
Anyway, I walked back into the living room to face the 6 young men still sitting on the couch with all expression gone from my face. I call a meeting using the finger move, mentioning the young men to come here.
What did they say? At least they knew they had a meeting.
Ed, just stop with that. I gathered them around and said, I just want to analyze the events of this evening.
What events?
The party, Ed. The party. I told them I was gone for 37 minutes. 37 minutes! There are enough cars in my yard and the next 2 yards to start a car lot. There was a fire in my backyard the size of a water tower. My kitchen looks like a culinary haunted house, and nobody left in this house is of age. There is a missing teenage girl. My stereo is adrift on my waterbed playing Another One Bites the Dust. And there is a guy living in my dryer. What in the hell happened? I don't know, one of the boys said.
What did you do?
I told them all, get in the car. Just get in the car.
Hey, that sound means it is time for the Manure Minute.
Yes, it does, Ed. And today's Manure Minute segment is another young fan by the name of Jacob Martin.
That is exactly right, Cowboy Ken. And 10-year-old Jacob writes, Mr. Ed is funny as heck, and I really like the show.
Well, Jacob, we thank you very much for watching and hope you continue to watch the show. And remember, when life gets crappy, find the funny.
And be happy.